Bonjour mes amis. Hi guys. Many of you send me emails asking me where to go shopping in Hong Kong when you are visiting. Some of you ask where to find specific models. Obviously that changes every week. And there are other questions along the way, such as can you bargain? So let's try to make something a bit practical. I can't really make a huge production of this. But let me tell you what a bit what to expect when you fly into Hong Kong. Of course, you can watch my videos, the watch safaris. I recommend starting with Central, then you go to Causeway Bay. There you will already see a lot of watches. There's some dealers already that you can check out on the internet. For example, Ken Watches. They have one location in Central, one location in Causeway Bay. They are in my safari videos. They also have a location on the in Wan Chai. In Wan Chai, that's pretty much the only shop. There's a couple of other shops, and of course, all along the way there are high street shops. But I think where usually you guys want to look for second-hand shops, dealers, and find have a bit of fun. That's the thing here in Hong Kong. You can see millions of watches in a very little time, just like you can do that in Tokyo. In Tokyo, you can see millions of guitars in a very little time. So it is that kind of city and excitement. And as much as it's nice to know where you're going, it's also nice to kind of get lost and find that gem perhaps in a dealer's window. That's part of the fun also of the hobby. And then on the other side, of course, this is a Hong Kong island, and basically there's nothing on the south side all over here to look for in terms of watches. Everything will be around Causeway Bay. There's little shops, of course, a bit further. Everywhere around town there's little shops you can find. And you got Wan Chai here and Central here. Sheung Wan, you might find little shops. But yeah, the bulk is going to be here. And on the other side, of course, of the Victoria Harbour, you have Chim Sha Tsui, TST, millions of shops over there. I haven't done yet really a safari there. There's just so many, and the shops change often. But I have shown you one thing there, the what is it called, around the Kimberley Hotel here. You have a whole bunch of shops and a gallery, but more shops, of course, in the Mongkok era. Quite a few shops around Jordan, but more shops starting at the Yo Ma Tei station, and then from there you just go up along the main avenue here, which is Nathan Road, and then turning right in Dundas Street, you will find many shops. You see London Watch here. There's a gallery with many shops, so I always recommend to start there. And of course, you keep going up along the ladies' market, for example. And when you get to Mongkok, there will be more shops there. Let's come back to that in a second. Yeah, when you just give you the overall geography of the land. Everything starts here when you land in Hong Kong, the international airport. Then you take a taxi, or you can take the if you're flying solo, just two people, it's more economical to take the fast train. It's right inside the airport, and you get all the way to Central in 24 minutes. But if you stay on the Kowloon side, you will get to the other station here, the Kowloon station. Around Kowloon station, this is mostly retail, of course, inside the Elements shopping mall. So yeah, when you're in Kowloon, I think my favorite place to go to see a lot of watches quickly, let's get back to it now, is often I get off at the Yo Ma Tei and I'll just go get out at exit D and or A2, sorry, A2, and I'll just take that little corridor here along Nathan Road, and there on Dundas Street there's a shop there right behind number 44 you see here. If I put a pin I can show it to you, but I think the Google thing came in the morning. You see Kwai Yan Watch Jewelry on the Dundas Street. And then if you keep going to the end of Dundas, you get here to you see PNF Times, Union Watch, and most importantly right here a couple of more shops on the side here. But this is the gallery, Yan On Building, number 1 Kwong Wah Street, Kwong Wah. This whole gallery is full of watch shops. You won't believe it, and this is in many of my watch safaris. So that's the epicenter to me, especially for Rolex shopping. But a lot of fun also is just to walk up the streets, either on Nathan Road, which is retail, but you can also have a look at the ladies market street, Tung Choi Street. Here, there you go, across Argyle Street, and I think the ladies market, yeah, it's this one here. Anyway, past Argyle Street, you're in Mongkok, and here there are loads of shops at different places. Some of them are in little shopping malls, for example. It's a bit difficult to find, but where I like to go, and if you go straight to Mongkok, you would take exit B2 or B3 at the Mongkok station. I like to take 5 Street, and at the angle of 5 Yuan, you will find Patek watch. Always very popular, lots of watches, different brands, of course, always dominated by Rolex. There's a few more shops before, and then when you keep going on 5th Street, there will be, of course, the Google car passed by at night, but there will be in the morning, it looks like, but there will be a few more shops here. At the end of it, there is a Burn watch. Might not get a great deal on Rolex, but on other brands you will. And then you get to that boulevard there, Sai Yi Street, and this is very popular here as well. There's a couple of shops under here. Good View Watch, and the one that I like quite a bit, Time. Sometimes they have unusual brands, so do check them out. There's one more shop a bit further here, but it's really it is very, very expensive, this one here. I've seen watches there for 10 years. They're not moving anything. A little funny thing, if you go, yeah, this shop here, Winfast watch. I mean, just the name, Winfast. Well, they don't really move anything fast, I can tell you that. Anyway, if you cross there, well, not here, use the pedestrian crossing. If you keep going there on Sai Yi Street, all the way to the next crossing, you see here I have it tagged Alpine Watch. So let's get right there. Alpine. It's got a different name on the thing, but it's Alpine Watch. And that's on the Butte Street, Bute 71. You like it. They have mainly non-Rolex brands and in good prices. And the guys are actually quite nice inside. They know their stuff. They know what they're talking about. So maybe we can take a break here and talk about the dealers. Some of them are a bit cagey. but sometimes it's just because they see a lot of people, including scammers and time wasters, all day long. But if you show a bit of interest, if you're wearing an interesting watch, you know what you're talking about, and be pleasant with them. Sometimes they open up and they'll be nice, but some of them are very nice right off the bat. They're happy to do business, especially now. Business has been slow. They'll be very welcoming, more than before, perhaps. And a shop like that, little shop like that, Alpine Watch, I like it very much. You can take your time trying, and many of the watches have box and paper, some don't, so it depends a bit how old the watch is. For a modern, less than 10-year old watch, I would prefer to have it, because yeah, watch theft is a bit rampant all around the world. Although a lot of watches that you find in Hong Kong come from Hong Kong, and it's a bit of an ecosystem, and you're pretty safe. They all have good watchmakers, so the authenticity is one of your main questions. Usually it's fine, especially if you do go for the non-Rolex. Of course, there are many replicas being made, but those dealers will be there tomorrow, so they have no interest of selling any replica in their windows, and they could get into much trouble. And they obviously don't want to commit their capital and their reputation to replicas. So of course they have watchmakers checking the watches inside and out when they buy. But yeah, you do your own due diligence as well. Box and papers depends, right? If it's something that's more than 10 years old and you get a great deal, yeah, there's always a chance it was stolen in a different country and arrived here in Hong Kong, whatever. But that will be embedded in the price. Think whether you can service it outside of an authorized dealer, or if it's something a bit too special and needs to go to an authorized dealer, then it might come back to bite you. But overall, in general, I've had good experiences. Just know one thing is that if you buy a complicated watch, but even a simple chronograph, look, the dealer will give you 6 months of warranty, but most of the time they haven't checked beyond the basics that it's running. And I've had watches, very complicated watches, high-end watches, just break right there in the shops, trying to wind them. So if it doesn't break there, it breaks 2 weeks later or even the next day, yes, there's a warranty, but you're stuck with that dealer and his willingness to fix it properly. With his own watchmaker, right? He's not necessarily going to send a grain complication Patek to Patek. He might not, but that will eat up a lot of his profit. These guys usually work on pretty small margins. It's not the watch box, right, where they work on 50% margins. Crazy stuff. They lowball like crazy when they buy. Dealers here, they're a bit more fair. But of course, it helps when you're from here and you do quite a bit of business with them. If you're just visiting, not quite the same. Anyway, by the way, if you keep going there and turn left, there's a street with pet stores, if you like it. There you go, Mongkok. Go around. There's quite a lot of little shops. Of course. It's a very big city, so you can go to Sham Shui Po, I don't know, Shek Kip Mei. There's also shops around the Kowloon Bay area, but those I would go there if you have a good reason, and the reason might be you go on the iPhone app that everybody's using, including the dealers, including the private people like me when they want to buy and sell. It's called Carousel, like a carousel with 2L at the end. If you can download it and if you can access it, maybe using a VPN to be in Hong Kong, you will see pretty much everything that's available in Hong Kong. Most watches are there. Not as much fun as going to the shops themselves, and of course sometimes you don't know what to look for, right? You find something that you were not looking for. That's the fun of it. But if you're looking for something precise, you can sort by price, sort by most recent listings. Anything that's over 3 months, I wouldn't expect it to still be there. But overall, it's a much better representation of the market in Hong Kong than Chrono 24, which is overpriced with fees. Next most important question, can you bargain? Of course, they will expect you to bargain. I usually have a good idea, of course, of what a watch is worth, and I don't go too crazy on the bargaining. I have an idea of what sort of margin they are taking, and they might be taking a quite large margin on the more esoteric stuff, like an unusual Jaeger LeCoultre, for example, and if they're showing 100,000, they might have bought it for 50,000. So there you have a lot more margin. Rather on a Rolex, the margin is very, very tight because they all have the same Rolex watches everywhere. So if you're looking for a Rolex, most dealers have everything, and you're just gonna have to look for, pay a little bit more for the better condition and the less polishing. Usually that's what I do. And having papers really helps. The box, who cares? But the papers, that goes a long way. Already in the neo vintage Rolex, and of course in the modern Rolex, it's unsellable without it. I've seen dealers doing 10% less than everybody else for modern submariners, but without the papers, people won't touch them because it will be very difficult to resell afterwards. So there you go. That is for Mong Kok and Yo Mate. TST, Champagne Court, everything. I think if you go there, you will already see a lot of watches. Not the most pleasant era, but it's right here. You go on Kimberley Road, right off Nathan Road. It's somewhere here. There's the Mira Hotel, and then right around here you have Champagne Court. Inside of here, around Kimberley Road. There's a few more shops if you keep on going on Kimberley. Very high-end watches. Then lots of dealers will be around Muddy Road. So if you go back down, a lot of retail shops in TST, but Muddy Road is another place where you find a lot of dealers. If you're wondering where all the Rolex, the new Pateks, the APs are going, they're right there on Muddy Road. So you have the retail on one side, and they sell it straight across the street. It is just so obvious. If you're masochistic, you can try to visit right here on Nathan Road, the big shops, the Hourglass. What's the point? Patek and Rolex and Tudor. Tudor, they might sell to you. Rolex, Patek. Don't expect anything as a traveler. And then there's a Seiko shop there. And in I Square, actually on the 4th or 5th floor, if you like guitars, you can check out some nice custom shop guitars. That's where I buy mine. The sales guy is super, super nice. All right, if you keep on going, by the way, in that street, let's take a higher view. So there you go. Where are we? So here you have I Square. There's in a Lock Road, and right here, Hancock Road. There's a couple of dealers. One of them has a couple of names. I think it's Marianne. I might be wrong. I'm just going to take a quick look here. I'm not going to find it. I think it's somewhere over there. Tick Time Company, might be that one, or somewhere around there. There's a couple of shops around there. And if you want to see the one that was just the subject of armed robbery, it's right here next to the park on a Haiphong Road, and it's called VIP Station. There you go. This is a very popular street. And if you're looking for a Hermes bag, VIP Station is where they have it, but they have like crazy Patek, Grand Comp, and all that. So this shop, be careful a bit. It is the subject sometimes of robberies. And if you want to do a big retail at the end of the road, you will have here big shopping malls. All this here is big shopping malls. This as well, the harbor city, I think it's called. By the way, in a little gallery here on the corner of Canton and Salisbury, I think there's another shop that has makes pretty good prices actually. You gotta find it. Yeah, it's in a little old gallery here. I think it's in the Star House. And yeah, all this retail, so you can go check out the Rolex shops and all that. Anyway, here you get at the TST Chim Cha Chui, never know how to say it, at the Star Ferry Pier. You take the ferry and you can get back to Hong Kong Island. There you go at the observation wheel. You get to IFC. And yeah, you can do more retail shopping. So check out my video about the central shops. They're a bit everywhere, so it's a bit you're gonna get sick if I keep on moving the phone the phone map like this. I'll just give you a couple of tips in central. Starting, it's around this block here along Queen's Road. In Manning House, you have Oriental Watches, but across from it, in Melbourne Plaza, I can just show you what it looks like at the front. There are actually two little watch dealers on the first floor. It's a Rolex-oriented one. On the second floor, there's a brand new, very nice, interesting dealer called Introduction, which has the other brands such as Vacheron, JLC, Roger Dubuis, and very nice young man working there. So I recommend it. Of course, you gotta go a bit further to the very picturesque Pottinger Street, right off Queen's Road, right here. A lot of influencers will take their pictures in that street. But right here, one of the first shops here on the right, it's even referenced now, I think, on Google, is Raymond Chung. Let's see if it pops on my Google. It's pretty random the way this Google thing works. There you go, it's here. Raymond Chung Vintage Watch Shop, buy sell trade, and don't be fooled, he knows his stuff. He's very well known. He's got vintage watches, and the prices not necessarily better than anywhere else, but quite a fun place, of course, to find maybe your perfect watch. If you do walk up the Pottinger Street, I do recommend. It's a quirky little street. You can buy all sort of trinkets and masks for Halloween. You will get to Wellington Street, and there is Mr. Chrono for all your watch paraphernalia. Across from it, in the Lucky Building, there's Ivan Watches, a specialist in a Rolex vintage. And if you go back down Wellington, turn left at the angle of Stanley Street and D'Aguilar. Of course, here you have the very chic vintage concept specialist in vintage Rolex. Always be careful, of course, for doctor dials and whatnot. But of course, if you go back up D'Aguilar Street, this is the famous era for bars. It's a Lan Kwai Fong, not what it used to be because of COVID, but at night you can hang out there perhaps. The rest of Central is mainly high-end retail. In Admiralty, there's a couple of shops as well. Of course, high retail in Pacific Place. In Admiralty Center, there is one Rolex dealer, but you will find more if you go to Causeway Bay. Causeway Bay, the most expensive commercial real estate in the world. So you can go to Times Square, of course, Times Square for high-end retail. And then around those streets there'll be little dealers. My favorite places are, well, there's a Ken Watches somewhere around here. Ken Watches, Causeway Bay. But my favorite place is at the angle. Let me see. Yeah, it's going to be right here. There you go. This is a Causeway Plaza 1, and it's exit B or C, both lead there, of the metro. So always Causeway Bay Plaza. There you go. You get in there, and on the ground floor, on the first floor, and on the second floor. My favorite one being on the first floor, and even on first, second, and maybe even third floor. For vintage stuff, yeah, you're gonna find a lot of Rolex, a lot of cool pieces. First floor has the coolest shop. Second floor has a nice one, which they actually the guy was asking me what I thought about buying some Longines because the Rolex market was a bit slow. So Causeway Bay Plaza, definitely one to go. And of course, Causeway Bay is very modern. A lot of shopping going on. You can find the Tudor shop right across the street, so you can maybe pick up one of the new Tudors. And there's a lot of Rolex retail, but of course they don't retail anything. Don't hope this is the worst place to buy Rolex brand new, but hey, you never know, and you can always ask. Just for your information, typically they apply market prices. So if you want to buy, for example, a two-tone 2024 Daytona, they will probably ask you to buy something around 20 to 30,000 Hong Kong dollar, so about 3,000 US. Or you can go to a second-hand dealer and he will have it brand new with stickers on, probably for 180, 190k Hong Kong, while the retail is 150, 160. So comes around the same, but at least you get your spending up if you're living here. If you don't, doesn't really matter, right? You can just buy it anywhere. But I guess you might want to have your name on the card when you buy something so expensive. Now, one final important question that you always have is what's the best way to pay? Here in Hong Kong, you can carry as much cash as you want, so cash is king. Next best is a bank transfer from a local bank, of course. It's almost instant, and there is no charge to it. More and more dealers are accepting credit cards, and some of them even do it without the extra charge of 3%. But for your convenience, safety, when you travel here, I suppose credit card will be the easiest. Maybe some old dealers still don't accept it. So maybe if it's not too expensive, think about a cash way of paying for your watch. So there you go. This is where these are my favorite places. There are many other little dealers, and you will find about them on Carousel. So do find them if you like vintage stuff. There's all sorts of little shops along the way. But there you go. Ken Watches is right here. Ken Watches is this is the address. Cheong K building, Devil Road Central, very easy to access in Central. And I think that there is a little vintage shop a bit further towards Sheung Wan as well. So there you go, guys. These are my favorite places. I hope it was not too confusing to look at it. Yeah, as I said, you can see tons of watches very quickly. And there you go. So use the app and use the map and use my Safari videos, and you should be able to find tons of watches. If you don't have much time, just go to Mong Kok and Causeway Bay Plaza. I think you will see you will hopefully find what you're looking for. Bye bye, guys.